Hapkido Hapkido International Combat System. This man is the late George Pertrada. Doju Nim, 10th Dan, and creator of Sungjado. From years of study, combining Taekwondo, Hapkido, kickboxing, karate, jiu-jitsu, judo, and mixed martial arts. Sungjado is not traditional Hapkido. The official successorship as follows: David Bateman, 10th Dan, Doju Nim, President and Board Member. Richard Hackworth, 9th Dan, Grandmaster and International Director to USA Hapkido and Board Member. Paul Hawley, 9th Dan, Grandmaster and Board Member. Richard Kirk, 9th Dan, Grandmaster and Board Member. Sam Albright, 9th Dan, Grandmaster and Board Member. Jay Jinuk, 9th Dan, Grandmaster and Board Member. Karen Smith, 8th Dan, Grandmaster and Board Member. Ryan Yarbrough, 8th Dan, Grandmaster and Board Member. Robert Buckman, 8th Dan, Grandmaster, Board Member and Vice President. Jeremy Ullman, 7th Dan, Master, Board Member and Director of Officials. Eric Leino, 7th Dan, Master and Board Member. Jason Wiseman, 7th Dan, Master and President of Canadian Sungjado Hapkido International. Ted Munger, 6th Dan, Master and Board Member. Randall Hutchinson, 6th Dan, Master and Board Member. Adam Lloyd, 6th Dan, Master and Board Member. Marie-Lise Bateman, 5th Dan, Master, Board Member and Secretary. Maydu Nietmitz, 5th Dan, Master, President of Estonia Sungjado Hapkido International and Board Member. Gordy Mormon, 4th Dan and Board Member. Brian Varner, 4th Dan and Board Member. Julia Bateman, 4th Dan and Board Member, President of United States Expert Karate Association. Sterling Slaughter, 4th Dan, Board Member and President of Australia Sungjado Hapkido International. Scott Hansen, 4th Dan and Board Member. Aaron Council, 4th Dan and Board Member, International Director of Judo and Jiu-Jitsu. Stephen McGowan, 4th Dan and Board Member. Sungjado, Way of the Victor. Join us and begin your path of victory.